Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pro Show. I'm your host, Erika, and today I'm so excited to be joined by John Poillucci, an architect who is making serious waves in the construction space and renovation, and he owns Spacehouse Studio. John, it's awesome to have you here.
Great to talk to you, Erika.
I think our listeners are really going to love how you're blending your architectural experience and real estate development and creating some seriously impactful projects.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about that today. So, my experience in architecture has kind of given me this unique position where I work with developers and contractors all day, and I get to see what a wide variety of different folks are focusing on, it's really fun to be a part of all these different projects with different priorities and goals, but everyone's trying to get across that finish line to get their project finished, sold, move on to the next thing, that type of work. So love to share my experiences with that.
Yeah, so tell us about how you got started.
Yeah, sure thing. So I got started after I'd say it was about, year 10, 11, 12, something like that in the field. And, I got into architecture always with the end goal of wanting to start my own firm. But to get to that point, you have to wear a few hats ahead of time. And before, I felt comfortable really delivering excellent services to my clients. I worked in residential architecture up in New England area. And that's where I was born and raised. And, my journey has led me around the country a little bit, where I worked in different types of architecture. So that includes multifamily construction, single family, duplexes, triplexes, any kind of middle housing type you could think of. And then for a short while, I was also working in healthcare architecture. And it's led me that route. And I was really excited to work with some great teams, great clients. And now I've started Spacehouse Architecture about 3 years ago, and always with the focus on residential architecture and delivering great designs with like deep trusting relationships. And I work a lot with contractors and developers. Those are my #1 client type, and I find it's really great because they're in the industry, and I like to provide their offices with some horsepower in delivering those projects.
Which markets are you operating in?
Yeah, so through my moves and all that, I work in both the Pacific Northwest as well as the Northeast. So that could span from, I'd say, as north as Maine and as south as Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So those areas.
So for anyone who's looking to expand their line of work, what kind of advice would you give them working in different regions and just juggling everything?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, so if you're trying to expand your line of work, I would say do it in like I'd say a slow and measured way, because jumping from say like let's say you're doing like a first flip or something like that, and then it's like it's quite a jump to go into something that's like a multifamily project because there's a lot more considerations with codes and everything. Of course, I'm always going to advocate for working with architects, but you know, as you're making those jumps, there's you know little things to take along the way. But so I think doing it in a way that you know maintains an excellent delivery of the project, and like maybe that could be yourself as the client. Maybe you are building a project to rent, and but you want to make sure that you checked all the boxes and you can get to that finish line successfully. And then it might be a different client. It might be you know you're building it to sell. You're building to sell a specific client. You know how do you you know set their expectations and make sure you deliver that well. But at the same time, it's growth is uncomfortable and requires some risk. So, you know, I see people that make these big jumps and they get out just fine. But I just say, you know, if you are growing in a more substantial way, to really lean on your network and just meet people and talk about their experiences. You know, construction, every building is unique, but there's no need to reinvent the wheel. I'd say there's known ways to get to your finish line, and you're just leaning on the people around you.
Love that. You were talking about taking risks. I think every developer or an investor that, you know, has their eyes on a property that they want to transform, what's key to balancing having a creative vision and also looking at the practicality with a project?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and you know, it's always fun to be in that mindset when you're first looking at a site and there's just like infinite possibilities, right? Before you start digging into the zoning code and the environmental constraints and whatever it might be, but I think there is little risk if you can have successful due diligence ahead of time, and then so that just means really digging into, you know, what are the skeletons that are possible that could come out of the closet with any project, and that's and then there's upfront cost with that too sometimes. So I think coming up with systems that you know cue you to look at specific things for sites, and you know it's okay like let's say it's a new site or an existing building or whatever it might be. It's you know you can have your list of looking through the building code, zoning code, and talk with the fire marshal, talk with the building department, just going through those processes, and depending on you know how robust the project might be, it's really worthwhile to you know sometimes lean on those professionals if you're really making a large investment in, let's say it's a greenfield site, for example. I see a lot of developers and contractors just start building, and but there's risk in any kind of construction. So like some of the things you can do to get out of the way is you know get your geotechnical reports done, and then like actually understand like okay you had this beautiful lot, but like what's actually going on under the hood, and do you want excavation to start and not know what you're actually digging into yet, things like that. And you know you're surveying if it's like a really constrained lot with property lines and everything. You know if you don't have a survey in place or something like that, then you don't really know like what your canvas is that you're painting on yet. You just kind of you know you might be like kind of possibly winging some property line adjustments or something like that. At the same time, if you have like a survey in hand, you can maximize your investment. And so there's some of these upfront costs that would you know they're a risk, and they you know they can detract from the overall cost of a project, but at the same time you can get immense value out of it and you might be able to deliver the project sooner, and maybe you reduce holding cost, or maybe you just be able to sleep better at night, honestly. So yeah, there's I think it's just really digging into the prospective project as much as possible ahead of time is just going to really pay dividends in the end.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
That's great advice, John. Given your expertise, what's one trend in construction or renovation that you think real estate investors should be paying attention to right now, especially if, there's an opportunity to maximize property value?
Yeah, so the number one thing I'm thinking about right now is zoning laws. So across the country, we're seeing different. So I'll back up a little bit, but I'd say in the world of residential construction, we're really feeling a squeeze with, property values are rising, people can't afford homes, things like that, and lawmakers are beginning to, well, have been noticing this, and they're really starting to make some changes on this. So instead of where like you might have a single family lot and all you can build on that is a single family home, which is great, and like we need homes like that, but we also would benefit a lot from different types of homes. So if we look at something like a duplex, right, is that's two homes, but they share a roof and a foundation, so that cost gets diversified between those two units. Same goes for fourplexes, multifamily. Just having diverse housing types, things like that, really puts more products out in the market that people can afford, or it adheres to a different demand, as opposed to only one type of home, being a single family home. So, across the country, we're seeing laws come up at the state level, city level, that allow more types of construction where only one home would have been allowed before. And this includes things like accessory dwelling units. So actually, just yesterday, I learned that in New Hampshire, you can have a single family home, but in the backyard or attached to it, you can build another smaller home. That's an accessory dwelling unit, they call it. So what's important about that is where you had a lot and you have all the costs associated with it, and you can build one home and sell it for that known price. Now you can build two homes. So it essentially like cuts in half the land cost and the infrastructure cost, and that's a big deal as far as making a project pencil, and it's going to be different clients, different different markets and everything. But what we're seeing is we're able to divvy up that land cost quite a bit. And also these are lots that are already improved. Let's say it already has a home on it, and you can build like another one right next to it, and make it a duplex. You don't have to pay all like it being an improved law. You don't have to pay for sewer hookups, water hookups, electric hookups, or if you do, it's already existing, and you don't have to worry about if you have to tie into it in a certain way. So yeah, what we're seeing is I think a really profound change in the value of land with these new laws in place. And there's going to be some regulatory hurdles, I think, as it's a new zoning code. And then if we propose a building, and that might be the first that building department has ever worked with that type of building. It's a duplex on a single family lot or an ADU, and it's like they have to really scrutinize that project and see, how do we get this thing approved, and can we approve it? And that's what I love to work with people on, is figuring out how to navigate that process in an effective way that really gets their end product finished.
That's really cool. And it sounds like even though there's challenges, there's a lot of opportunity at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's and I'm excited that so with my background, I worked a lot in the Pacific Northwest, and states like Washington, Oregon, California. They've had these laws in place for years now, and what's exciting is that those communities are starting to see a positive trend in housing affordability. So they've been able to add in some housing types like ADUs and townhomes and things like that, where it used to be only single family homes, and now they're seeing the average housing costs go down, actually. And that's really impactful, and people can afford homes more easily in those areas. At the same time, the law might be in place, and it takes time for it to, get the client that wants to have that done, or if it get the land that you want to build this on, and then after that, get the construction started and get the home completed and sold. So we're going to see a lag from when these laws are put in place until it has an impact on housing cost and those types of trends, but they're really powerful tools to change how we value land and how we value a project.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I love that. And, really, we don't have a lot of people on the show that talk about how to get housing costs going down, but also that you get like a return on your investment. That's just really awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and there's definitely more to, that's one lever we have to pull with housing costs is, the cost of the land and the zoning laws. But then you can look inward too, is how do we look at the buildings themselves, and how do we work with best practices to get that housing cost down? So, there could be small things like, I have like a catalog of plans that, they're just like home designs that are complete that I can essentially deploy them a few times, and then people are able to access that at a lower cost than say a custom home, because I'm able to diversify my time. But there's small changes in these plans, like they're round numbers for the dimensions of the floor plate. So it's like, okay, it's a 20 by 40 foot building, and then the framers don't have to think as hard about how they make their cuts, and like maybe they're rectangular in shape as opposed to having a lot of articulation. And this might bring the cost down by 0.5% or something like that. But when you add all these features together, you can have a significant impact on construction cost and really drive down your cost per square foot for new construction. And even still in, I'd say in renovation type projects, there's more things you can do to really focus on labor savings and how do you get to your end product in the same way? Like it looks the same, but how do you get there in like a quicker way? But also that like it's a quality construction, and you're able to get more in your investment.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about cost there, maybe this is cost related, maybe it's not. Every pro in this industry has a moment where things got real. Maybe a project hit a major snag, or clients' demands pushed you to think outside of the box. John, can you share one of those moments in your career, and how did you navigate it?
Yeah, I had a recent experience with a municipality that, so a big project type I have right now is multi-generational living. So that means, it's like a family that combines their resources and either builds a home together or expands a home. And that a project I had recently was, it was mom and dad. They lived in a nice like duplex, and then they had kids, and those kids lived in the house, and they decided to live at the kids' house, but they wanted to build an addition onto the existing home. And in that case, it was a pretty simple project. It was about a 700 square foot addition, and they wanted a bedroom and a small living area, and essentially like a wet bar that they still wanted to share meals with their family and everything, and experience life together, but have like some privacy and separation. And and that wet bar actually was like such a big thing with the zoning approval, because in this specific municipality, you can have accessory dwelling units, meaning like a smaller version of a home that's on the same lot. And then what defines an accessory dwelling unit is it has the holy trinity of a home. It has a bedroom, a bathroom, and it also has a kitchen. And then the kitchen is what got open to interpretation, is it, by that definition, is like a cooking facility. So in this case, it was a sink. And then you can technically prepare food on the countertop next to it. So we had to either for this project to move forward in the version they wanted, which is like contiguous area. So like their new unit has a doorway into the existing home. They had to either get rid of that small little wet bar, or they had to completely separate with a 1 hour rated wall between the new addition and the existing home. So we really just like dove into what's the value of one situation versus the other. And they ended up opting for, we're going to keep that wet bar area, the small, let's call it a kitchen area, and we're going to separate the two units. And then what happened is, they were able to walk out one door and walk into the other and still experience life together. But if they wanted to turn around and move out of that place and rent out that second unit, they could. It's legally it's almost like a duplex. It's like one smaller unit, an existing home, and they're attached together. And it was an experience as far as permitting goes and everything. But and like that's a real challenge, is like, you want to move forward, and you have families moving in together, and they have timelines, and there's a lot of emotion and life changes tied to that. And it's like making these big decisions and navigating that lifestyle change at the same time. That's a lot. That's really challenging stuff. But at the same time, we were able to make a better ROI for their project, because they can turn around and have two homes where they had one before in this previous version. So in the end, it kind of made out better for them, but it was definitely challenging for sure.
What was the biggest takeaway that you had from that experience?
Hmm. I think the biggest takeaway was, I think just continuing open collaboration with clients. So that's something I really love to do with contractors and developers I work with, is just like talk through the project as much as possible. It's not like a top-down approach. Like people think, I'm the architect, I'm going to have all the answers or something like that. And like, I have my experiences, but then contractors have their experience, developers have their experiences, clients have their own experiences. And how do we bring all of our knowledge together to make the most successful project possible? So in that case, it was, I had my understanding of the zoning codes and building codes, and the client had their goals and their understanding of, the finances behind it, I'd say. And, how do we merge these two together to make the most effective solution? So I think it's just open, continued communication is the biggest takeaway from that.
Excellent, excellent. That is a great takeaway. John, you mentioned how managing both of those markets, that, making those connections and networking made all the difference. Can you share more about that? What specifically was the biggest game changer for you for growing your network as an architect and working with investors?
Yeah, I think in this day and age, there's so much focus on web marketing and networking online, that type of thing. But then I kind of look to my support crew, which would be just like mentors, other people in the industry, and just see how they work. And people that have been doing this for a long time, and time again, the biggest impact, like the most impactful way to put yourself out there in the network, is just meeting people, just talking. And I really value the power of in-person interaction, and and just making deep relationships. So I'm very much like, go for the narrow and deep relationships. Find who complements your strengths best. How do you position yourself in a way that you're working with people that see the same goals as you, and like maybe in different ways, and they might be different personalities or whatever it might be, but like from a business perspective, who are the people that are going to really drive you forward, and are these people you're going to drive forward as well? So it's like, it's a two-way street. But yeah, it's really focus. I wouldn't say like go for that wide approach. And it's good to have like an online presence and everything. That's always fun. But making deep, trusting relationships is really going to pay off when you're having these long projects. And I think about like contractors that are in the field every day, and they're at a project for like sometimes years and years, and you want to make sure that those relationships are really solid before you get started with something like that, because projects they get tough almost every single time, and there's just going to be ups and downs, and to be experiencing that with people that you really trust and you feel comfortable with, that's going to just be beneficial for the project, for yourself, for everyone around you too.
I couldn't agree more. John, what is next on the horizon? What goals are you looking to achieve?
Yeah, so next on the horizon for me is, I've got these great relationships and now I'm really focused on, I'd say, affordable housing. Naturally occurring affordable housing is, my big product that I like to put out there. So I really enjoy collaborating with contractors and developers in making a product that works with their brand, but we're able to make beautiful homes that are put out in the market in a way that's suitable for construction, make things easier. Yeah, I think a lot about like prefabrication and just clever design that sets up things like, I'm really thinking about like, okay, how do I set the plumber up for success here? How do I make their life as easy as possible? And then I think about, it's not necessarily like a labor savings, because it's like it's going to be hopefully for the same labor, we can build two homes as opposed to one. Like that kind of idea is like, I'm not trying to push like one trade out or anything like that. It's like, how do we get these trades to have a wider throw and create more housing? And that's, the designs I try to put out there. That's what the focus is, how do we make this so it can be recreated easily. And some of my clients I've had clients that are just homeowners that they're building their first ADU or first renovation or something like that, and I'm able to make that leap with them. Because we're really focused on simplified building techniques, and how do we get to their goal in a way that's like if I had a drywaller come out of a project and they're like, that was the easiest house to drywall I've ever done, I'm like, I've done my job well. Because if someone a tradesman looks at a project and is like, this looks like a headache, when the goal is to make any kind of homes that people can afford, then that's not successful to me.
John, I love how you've been able to blend creativity and practicality so well. If someone on listening today wants to get in touch with you, collaborate, what's the best way for them to connect?
Yeah, so everyone communicates in different ways, and I like to, let people get in touch with me the best way possible. So if you like a phone call, I have a website, spacehousestudio.com. I have my email on there. I have social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. And, I'm happy to interact with people in just about any way. And, feel free to give me a ring if you're thinking about a project, or, you're just like want to bounce your ideas off of somebody. I'm always happy to have a quick conversation and just, hear what you're saying, what you're, where the fears might be in a project or that growth. And I've worked with people all different scales of projects, and it can be you can achieve these goals, these bits of growth. People have done it before and they've done it successfully. So and I'm lucky to be in a position where I kind of bear witness to that. So yeah, feel free to get in touch with me any way you'd like.
Thanks so much for sharing your insights and journey. I'm sure there's people out there taking notes, and if they didn't, wow, they need to go listen again and take more notes. Thank you.
Thank you, Erika. Well, it's been a real pleasure talking through this, and I'm really excited about what a resource this podcast is to folks in real estate, and seeing real estate become more accessible to people, seeing just private homeowners or just people that want to make a difference in their neighborhood, all the way up to folks that want to make big developments and such. So yeah, I'm really excited to see this podcast continue to make such a good influence.
For everyone tuning in, if you found this episode valuable, make sure you're subscribed. We got more conversations like this with pros like John who are shaping the real estate world. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.